And then this other idea of aesthetic intelligence. And again, it's aesthetics. We often give examples relating to things like music or art or dance, where you're putting pieces together in a way that creates some kind of harmonious result. However, what we would say is that it's not simply only to create, that it's only nice to have harmony, that in fact, it's the disharmony that is usually the major source of obstacles. And that in fact, the obstacles are showing us where something is out of balance, is out of alignment, has become somehow disconnected. So this attention to aesthetic intelligence is not something that's sort of a superficial second thought. It's actually primary. Is everything, is everything present? Is everything in its right proportion? Using this really interesting example of the old Zen monk who has the student, and gives the student this task. He says, "Go get a handful of salt," and has a glass of water. Says, "Put it in the water." Puts it in the water and he says, "Taste it." Well, what does it taste like? He said, "Oh, it's very bitter." He said, "Okay, go get the same handful of salt. Gets the same handful of salt. Goes throw it in the lake." So they throws it in the lake, and he says, "Now bend over and take a sip from the lake. What does it taste like?" "Oh, it's very fresh." "Well, it's the same handful of salt. What's the difference?" And he was saying, yeah, the salt is like our suffering. It's like our pain, right? If you put it in a small container, that's what we would call kind of crash, it takes over, right? It's the main thing that you experience. When you have this larger field that you're connected to, which would be the lake, that same salt is not going to be, it's not going to take over. It's not going to be the primary taste. And I thought that was a really useful metaphor to think about what we're often trying to do in generative change, especially when we deal with obstacles, right? It's only a problem if it's in a container that big, right? When we are in that connection to our fullness, then that exact same amount, the exact same experience is no longer a problem. And that to me is an example of aesthetic intelligence, how something relates to its connection to everything else that's also present.